one of the reasons that we see this moonshot in your stock is that you just keep publishing better and better earnings. You've done so again today, driven by digital sales, driven by the classifieds business. In fact, one analyst said it's time to take profits now after a 30% gain year to date. Why should investors continue to buy the stock?
Well, I mean, CEOs should never comment on valuation, but I can just tell you that we are just about to take off. That is our mindset. I mean, the company is now generating 2/3 of its revenues with digital businesses, more than 2/3 of its profits. So it's transforming fast track into a purely digital publisher based on digital content and digital classifieds. Digital classifieds is a proven growth and high margin business where we have one of the top positions in the world, 2 top positions in the world. And digital journalism is something which has tremendous growth potential for the future. So the best is yet to come, and I personally think it is a good moment to invest.
So one of the reasons you could have tremendous growth is that massive search engines like Google, massive social media sites like Facebook have had an attitude change now where they're no longer fighting paid journalistic content, but rather looking to form partnerships. Can you talk to us about, is this a sea change? Is this really a turning point?
Well, we have been fighting for a paid culture in the digital world for many, many years. At the beginning, nobody wanted to really change something, and people have now realized in the days of fake news and the impact that that has on democracies and systems that are going more into the authoritarian, autocratic way, that independent, branded content, quality journalism has a tremendous importance in societies, and that's why it should be a sustainable business model. And we are very happy that both platforms, Google and Facebook, have changed their attitude, and they are both preparing a paid mechanism that would help publishers to transform readers into subscribers in a very easy manner. And if it's done in a fair way, where we have access to the reader's data and where we can really establish direct customer relationships, that would be a game changer for publishing. It would be to the benefit of platforms, it would be to the benefit of societies, but obviously publishers would be big beneficiaries of that because our revenue streams are changing. We would have access to 2 important revenue streams, and that's what we need to achieve. And I'm more optimistic than ever.
I recently saw an interview with Henry Blodgett, who runs Business Insider. You recently bought, a couple of years ago, you bought his news site. But he said, you know, the developed world has been saturated. The internet has been saturated by media. It's very difficult for new players. Of course, you are not at all a new player, but even for a really established brand like Bild or Die Welt, is it hard to gain market share in this saturated internet?
No, I think we are still at the early days of digital content, and what we will see, very few legacy publishers are going to be successful players in the digital world, but there's a whole new generation of digital native publishers that are entering the scene. Brands that nobody knows, ranging from Vice Media to BuzzFeed to Vox Media, to Business Insider. And look at Business Insider, it's doing so tremendously well. When we made the investment, not all shareholders were very happy about it. They thought it's uncertain whether they're ever going to make money. Business Insider is growing now over the first 9 months of this year, top line, more than 50%. That is exceeding all expectations. Their reach is growing. The customer loyalty is getting better and better. That is really today already reach-wise the biggest business platform worldwide, but the monetization of it is now really working. And that is encouraging. I see a lot of room for new players, for new brands, and we definitely want to be a leader in that process to establish new brands and, of course, transform the 2 remaining legacy brands that we have built and Welt into step-by-step purely digital brands and grow.
All right, so you've had tremendous success with that acquisition. I think it was about $500 million you paid for Business Insider a couple of years ago. And you see a lot of other players out there with potential. Who else are you looking at as a possible candidate for your next growth acquisition?
We paid for Business Insider a little less than 400 million. But from today's perspective, I think it was a very reasonable price, the valuation potential of BI, given its global reach and given its performance, is much higher. We have said that we want to prove concept, and concept means for us always profitability. We are getting very close to that point. Things are going faster than expected. Once we have shown with BI that such a brand can be a profitable business, then we will start the next phase of investment with Business Insider and then with new digital content brands. But so far, given the 13 smaller investments that we have made in the US and the European activities, we have enough to manage for the moment. And next year we will see, but we stick to the guidance that we gave. First priority, proof of concept.
I have to ask you about the German political situation right now. You're in the unique position as not only an opinion maker in Germany, but really, worldwide, there's nothing like Bild in Germany, at least not in the developed world. The criticism is that the German media covered the AfD, the far-right party, too much, and maybe gave them momentum to get into the Bundestag. What do you think about that kind of criticism?
Well, first of all, we see the global trend that most of the centrist democracies are weakened and their leaders are not in best shape, while a lot of countries are going into the populist direction, into the autocrat direction. And clearly AfD is also an indication that in Germany something similar is happening as an undercurrent. Media have to stick to their principles of fairness and of, let's say, there's no objectivity, but there should be, for all parties, whether we like them or not, a fair treatment and the possibility to get exposure. Not more than other parties and not less than other parties. Of course, AfD is an interesting phenomenon at the moment. There are a lot of stories to tell. Right. But I think overall, we shouldn't blame the media for a phenomenon like AfD. I think that is a little more deeper rooted.